I'm speaking to you, collectors, investors, dreamers, anyone who's ever peered into a coin album and whispered, "What if?" If you've ever wondered whether a humble penny could truly be worth millions, you're in the right place. This is not fantasy. The world of numismatics is full of astonishing stories, and one of them is unfolding now. Let me start with a question to shake things up. Would you throw away a penny if your life depended on it? Probably not, but you might toss it into a jar without a second thought. That penny could be your miracle. Years ago, coin experts uncovered a striking variant of the 1962 D Lincoln cent. Among the tens of millions made that year, there existed, hidden, a tiny number of D mint mark over S errors. In other words, someone struck a Denver penny over a San Francisco die. That anomaly, when authenticated and graded at perfect condition, has become one of the most sought-after rarities in U.S. penny collecting. Now imagine this. You dig through your coin stash. Decades later, you take that penny to a top grading service, and the certificate comes back, MS67D over S Lincoln cent. Your heart pounds. Because that piece can command prices in the six-figure to near million-dollar range. But let me pause. Before you slap your grandpa's coin jar on eBay, let's journey through how this all came to be, how rare coins become millionaires, how you might spot one, and how to safely convert that copper into life-changing value. We begin with an era when coin minting was both industrial and human. In 1962, the U.S. Mint at Denver was producing Lincoln cents in astronomical quantities. They employed mechanical presses, human oversight, and manual die changes. One day, a San Francisco die was accidentally mounted under the Denver coin press, or vice versa, and struck a small batch of coins. No one noticed until years later. That created the over-mint mark variety, D over S. For decades, collectors whispered about this anomaly, but actual examples remained elusive. In the 1990s and early 2000s, a few surfaced, usually from raw collections or estate finds. But none emerged in perfect grades until 2015, when one piece was submitted to a leading grading service. It returned as MS67DS. It skyrocketed in value. It set new benchmarks. It emboldened treasure hunters everywhere. Let me ask, when was the last time a penny sold for $875,000? If you said never, you'd be surprised. That figure is the current speculative market cap for such a gem in pristine condition. Imagine the headlines. Penny brings nearly $1 million. The story circulates. Word spreads. Suddenly, everyone's rummaging through coin jars. Now you may be thinking, that's amazing but also incredibly rare. Like winning the lottery, right? Yes, it's exceedingly rare. But in the world of numismatics, rare doesn't mean impossible. Remember, the greatest treasures are found when ordinary people act on extraordinary possibility. You might ask, what's the chance my 1962 D penny is that D over S variant? The odds are tiny, perhaps 1 in many millions. But here's where fear and opportunity collide. Suppose you ignore that penny or sell it cheap and someone else takes it to auction. That mistake would haunt you for decades. Let me interrupt your scroll. Do you really want to leave $500,000 on the table? That's not hyperbole. That's real possibility, if your coin is legit. Now let's step carefully through the clues you need to spot. First, if you own any 1962 D pennies, pull them from circulation or your collection. Examine them under magnification. Focus on the D mint mark beneath the Lincoln bust's wreath area. Look for traces of another S ghost beneath or around it, faint, shadow-like, maybe only visible at certain angles or under raking light. That layering is subtle, delicate. It's not a bold overprint. It's a detective's puzzle. Second, condition matters exponentially. A 1962 D over S in poor grade might be interesting, but its value may be just a few $100 or $1,000. Only flawless or near-flawless examples command six-figure or near million-dollar sums. So even if you see an overmint mark, you'll need expert grading. Third, get the coin to a trusted third-party grading service, PCGS, NGC, or ANAX. Submit it under proper authentication that highlights die varieties. If it's genuine and high grade, the magic begins. Now picture this. You submit the coin, wait weeks, and the envelope returns. You crack it open. It reads MS68D over S, or at least MS67D over S. Your breathing stops. You've possibly just manifested a $875,000 legal tender in your hands. But buyer beware. The world of rare coins is littered with stories of fakes, misattributions, and drama. Some have tried to manufacture over-mint marks using chemical or laser work. Some have tried fancy photo trickery. That's why provenance, expert opinion, and transparent grading are crucial. Always ask for certification, images, pedigrees. So far, we've traced the origin, the rarity, the spotting tips, and the pathway to authentication. But how do we put a real dollar value on a piece like this, especially the staggering $875,000 mark? Market pricing in numismatics is partly art, partly science, partly emotion. Auction houses set benchmarks. The price realized for similar pieces, especially in top auctions, becomes the anchor for new ones. When one D over S 1962 and MS 67 fetched $800,000, bids began creeping upward. Fear of missing out, competitive bidders, media buzz, all drive the price. That's how $875,000 becomes plausible. Here's a pattern interrupt to jolt you. Imagine your neighbor next door sells a 1962 Lincoln penny for the price of a modest house. And you had the twin in your basement all along. That thought gives you goosebumps, right? It should. Now let's look at risk and reward. Risk. Your coin might be ordinary, worthless beyond face value. You spend a few dollars to get it authenticated and your heart sinks. But reward. You could unlock a fortune. The cost to have it certified is small compared to potential payoffs. That's exactly how dreams are made. Picture a timeline. You have the coin today. You send it in. Weeks later, grading returns. You list for auction. Titles pass. The hammer falls at $875,000. You pay fees. You net maybe 95%. Suddenly, you've turned a humble penny into nearly $1 million windfall. But wait, why would someone pay that much? Because people invest in rarity, legacy, bragging rights. The buyer may be a sophisticated collector, a museum, someone upgrading their flagship coin. They want the best of the best, and they're willing to pay to keep it out of your hands. Let me ask you, would you rather keep the penny in your sock drawer or secure the cash, reinvest, live your dreams? That's the choice treasure seekers face, to risk regret or to take decisive action. Before we conclude, here's a cliffhanger to tether your attention. Suppose you send the coin in, it returns as MS64D over S, still genuine, but not gem. Is the dream dead? Absolutely not. Even that might fetch tens or hundreds of thousands, depending on appearance, demand, and presentation. We'll dive into that in a future deep dive. But for now, focus on excellence. Your next steps? Hunt your 1962D pennies, magnify the mint mark, inspect for ghosting, then submit the promising ones to top graders. Teach yourself to discern surface preservation, luster, toning. Be relentless. Let every coin jar, every forgotten roll become a possibility machine. As you move forward, here's a final charge. Treasure hunts demand boldness. Those who succeed most are those who act, not wait. They face rejection, disappointment, scarcity, and still push forward. They don't say maybe later, they say send it today. The 1962D over S Lincoln cent is not a fairy tale. It's a reality, a living legend in numismatics. And today, you may be one coin away from reclaiming that myth into your life. So don't hesitate. Inspect your coins tonight. Submit what's promising, and return. Subscribe. Hit that notification. Because we're going to dissect real case studies, valuations, bidding strategies, even how to negotiate private sales safely. You'll want to be front and center. You may well be holding an $875,000 penny. That's not fluff. It's possibility. It's urgency. And it's waiting for someone willing to believe. Stay sharp. The treasure is real. The clock is ticking. And your penny could be your greatest fortune. You stay with me because by the end of this video, you might find yourself staring at a coin you've ignored for years, wondering if it holds more than just sentimental value. You might already know about the 1909 VDB, the 1955 double die, or the famous 1943 bronze Lincoln cents. But the 1967 no mint mark penny, a coin many dismiss as common, hides a secret so powerful that some collectors call it the $1 million penny. Today, we'll go deep into how one such example last sold for $845,000. What makes it so rare? how to identify it, and whether your own pennies might hold hidden treasure. We'll also guide you through the experience of preparing to sell, because these sales don't just happen online. They involve tension, timing, and courage. The spark, how one 1967 penny became a legend. When the U.S. Mint struck Lincoln cents in 1967, it was generally accepted to mark them D for Denver or S for San Francisco, except Philadelphia, which often left a blank. But by that year, almost every 1967 cent came from Denver, and no coins were officially struck in Philadelphia for general circulation. That means almost every 1967 cent you find was struck in Denver and should bear a D mint mark. Yet somewhere, an anomaly slipped through the cracks, a 1967 no mint mark penny. A penny that seems like a regular 1967, but isn't. It's that impossible possibility. The idea that one or two pennies escaped from the minting process without the D that creates the myth. The coin is so scarce that many elite numismatists call it the holy grail of modern Lincoln cents. When one of these surfaced, intense scrutiny followed. Experts confirmed authenticity, and at auction, bids skyrocketed. The final hammer price, $845,000. Think about it. A coin that, for decades, might have sat in someone's change jar, worthless in everyday life. And then, suddenly, that same coin becomes worth nearly $1 million. That discrepancy, from worth nothing to almost $1 million, is what turns ordinary objects into life-changing opportunities. So what defines that jump? What turned an everyday penny into something unimaginable? The puzzle. What factors make it so valuable? The first factor is extreme rarity. It's not just rare in collector parlance. It's almost unique. Perhaps only one or two exist, making each example the only one on Earth in private hands. Most numismatic greatness is built on scarcity, but this coin's scarcity is nearly absolute. Second, authentication and certification matter. A mere claim won't move million-dollar bids. Every step, from microscopic dye analysis to metallurgical testing, must stand against skeptics and fraud examiners. The coin that sold for $845,000 underwent months of forensic testing before being offered publicly. Its path to validation is part of its value. Third, market psychology plays a powerful role. Collectors, dealers, and speculators see both prestige and potential profit. The story becomes part of the value. Owning a coin others might never find, possessing a piece of numismatic legend. That excitement pushes bids higher and higher. Fear of missing out, FOMO, is real in rare coin auctions. Fourth, condition and grade are essential. Even one microscopic scratch, hairline mark, or minor rim ding can diminish perceived value dramatically. So the perfect specimen, a high grade with minimal wear, is what buyers pay for. But with that said, $845,000 is a staggering price for what is nominally 1 cent. It's a reminder that value is not what something costs to make. It's what someone is willing to pay. And in the case of that 1967 no mint mark penny, they were willing to pay almost $1 million. The turning point. What this means for you. Here's where it becomes personal. Maybe you have a few old pennies stuck in drawers, jars, or rolls. Maybe you thought 1955 double die, 1943 bronze, 1970 no mint mark, and tossed aside 1967s. What if you kept one? What if one of those pennies is that missing coin? Most Americans own at least a few Lincoln cents minted between 1959 and 1982. You might not imagine high value, but let's do the math. If 1 in 10 million 1967 cents lacked a D mint mark, and you had 500 of them, your odds increase. Yes, the probability is low, but that's how legends are born. 1 in millions can materialize when luck meets discovery. This moment, the moment you reconsider that jar of pennies, is the turning point. If you hear only yesterday, it's too late. But if you're watching now, you still have time to ask, could I own a piece of numismatic legend? Midpoint cliffhanger, a question to keep you hooked. But here's a haunting question. How would you prove your coin is genuine? And who would you trust to help you sell it and avoid getting cheated out of millions? Wait until later. We'll go step by step through how to protect yourself and maximize your payout. But first, let's answer the skeptics. Counter-arguments and fear. Can it really be true? Many viewers would immediately object, This is probably a con. No penny is worth $845,000. Or, that coin was a unique fluke. I have zero chance. These objections are natural and smart. In the rare coin world, fraud and misattribution happen. There's always someone claiming a coin is the one when it's just cleverly altered. So yes, first we must guard against fakes. That means working with trusted third-party graders, PCGS, NGC, etc., seeking provenance documentation, and obtaining expert verification. If a dealer pressures you to sell immediately without certification, walk away. Second, you must consider market dependency. Just because one coin sold for $845,000 doesn't guarantee another will. Auction conditions, bidder availability, and global sentiment matter. But historically, rare coin auctions have delivered astonishing price records, and the story of that 1967 no-mint mark penny has become part of the lore that drives excitement in related markets. Third, you must accept that time and patience are part of the process. You may need to wait months, even years, for the right buyer who understands the coin's significance. Impatience often leads to underselling, the worst fate for a rightful owner. But with risk comes reward, and for those who act wisely, the payoff can be life-altering. Transition to Act 3, the transformation. Now, let's shift to the final and most crucial act, how you can turn possibility into reality. If you suspect you own a rare penny, whether 1967 no mint mark or something else obscure, here's your roadmap to extracting maximum value and minimizing danger. The roadmap: discovery, validation, sale. Step 1, inventory and isolation. Gather all old pennies. Sort by date and mint mark. Separate 1959 to 1982 cents, especially 1967. Use moderate lighting and magnification. Look for anomalies: missing mint marks, double dies, odd planche features. Interrupt, humorous aside. You know you're deep in coin mode when your dinner conversation is, "Honey, did you remember to check the mint mark on your salad?" Step 2. Preliminary screening. Consult numismatic reference guides or free online tools. Reach out to known collectors or local coin clubs and ask whether your suspected coin merits further inspection. But don't send your coin to someone you don't trust. Step 3. Professional grading and certification. Submit your coin to an established third-party service, PCGS, NGC, or Annex. Request detailed grading, authentication, and, if possible, special variety confirmation. Be ready to pay for high-level service, but it's worth the expense when millions are at stake. Step 4. Provenance and documentation. Collect any historical trace you can, where you got the coin, prior owners, photographs. Even if your documentation is minimal, a well-graded coin with excellent imaging can create its own prestige. For coins of this caliber, buyers often pay not just for the coin, but for the story and pedigree. Step 5. Strategic marketing and auction selection. Choose your auction house carefully. The premier numismatic auction houses, Heritage, Stack's Bowers, Sotheby's, attract serious buyers and drive competitive bidding. Timing matters. Align your sale with a major auction event to bring in collectors who travel and bid aggressively. Provide high-resolution photos, variety breakdowns, and expert opinions in the catalog narrative. Step 6. Negotiation and seller protections. Demand escrow, authentication review periods, and seller's representation, i.e., you are represented by legal counsel or an agent. Never accept a cash deal from unknown parties. In a nearly $1 million sale, every clause matters. Use non-disclosure agreements and guarantee your coin is returned if the buyer backs away. Urgency. Why act now? You might say, "I'll wait until the market rises." But let me challenge you. What if the opportunity disappears? What if a key auction venue goes under? Or new counterfeit techniques flood the market, making buyers cautious? The numismatic market, like all luxury collectibles, thrives on trust, narrative, prestige, and timing. Delaying may dull the buzz, attract fewer bidders, or expose you as uncertain, which cuts your negotiating power. In this space, hesitation can cost you hundreds of thousands, or even ruin your chance entirely. Every moment you wait is a moment when someone else might find the next Holy Grail coin, capture full press coverage, and dominate the market conversations. Imagine opening your grandmother's dusty jewelry box not to find diamonds or gold, but a single copper penny. Old, dull, nothing special. You toss it aside. But what if I told you that tiny coin could be worth over $840,000 today? And what if I told you that you might have one sitting right now, hidden in a jar, a drawer, or buried in an old coffee tin in your attic? This is the story of the 1971 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. The ordinary coin that turned the world of numismatics upside down, made collectors go wild, and transformed forgotten pocket change into a fortune. Let's start with a question that might change your life. How much would you give for one penny that could buy you a luxury home, pay off every bill you've ever had, and give you the financial freedom you've dreamed about? That's not just a fantasy. It's reality for a few lucky people who discovered one of the rarest modern U.S. coins in existence. Back in 1971, the United States Mint was producing hundreds of millions of pennies. Lincoln's familiar face was stamped into bright copper planchets in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But one small detail would separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. Most coins made in San Francisco bore the letter S. Denver coins carried the D, and coins from Philadelphia, they carried no mint mark at all. So a missing mint mark wasn't rare in itself, until an error occurred that made a few of these no mint mark coins stand out in an astonishing way. Because in that year, the Mint accidentally produced a small batch of 1971 Lincoln pennies with proof-like qualities that weren't supposed to exist outside of collectors' sets. These coins, minted in Philadelphia, came out with nearly perfect strikes and mirror-like surfaces, flawless, stunning, and extremely rare. But here's where things get interesting. These weren't supposed to reach the public, yet somehow a handful escaped into circulation. Some ended up in people's change from grocery stores, some in coin rolls, some in jars. For decades, no one noticed. Now imagine this. Someone decades later sitting at their kitchen table, sorting through old coins just for fun, when suddenly the light hits that penny just right. The color gleams. The strike looks sharper than any other. Their heart skips a beat. Could it be one of those? That's how legends begin. When collectors finally realized what they were looking at, the 1971 no mint mark Lincoln penny went from being an overlooked coin to one of the most valuable modern-era cents ever found. And here's the kicker. The most pristine examples, graded MS 67 and above, are now valued at around $840,000. Yes, that's nearly $1 million for a 1-cent coin. Let that sink in for a second. How many pennies have passed through your hands in your lifetime? Thousands? Maybe tens of thousands? You could have held your ticket to financial freedom without even knowing it. But don't panic, because you can still find one. Before we talk about how to identify one, let's dig a little deeper into why it's so valuable. Collectors love rarity, condition, and story. The 1971 no mint mark penny has all three. First, its scarcity. Only a handful have ever been verified. Second, its condition. Coins that survived decades without scratches or discoloration are unicorns. And third, its mystery. No one knows exactly how these coins slipped past quality control. That mystery fuels demand. Every collector, every treasure hunter, every dreamer wants to believe they might be the one to uncover the next hidden gem. But here's where things take a thrilling turn. Some experts believe there may still be more out there, lost in coin jars, hiding in old estates, or even lying forgotten in circulation. Imagine that. A multi-million-dollar treasure hunt happening in plain sight. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you really looked at your change? Seriously, most people haven't looked closely at a penny since high school. But if you knew one could be worth a lifetime of financial security, wouldn't you start looking a little harder? Here's what you need to watch for. Start with the date, 1971. Then check below the year. No S, no D, just a clean space. But that alone isn't enough. The key lies in the quality of the strike. A true high-value specimen will have razor-sharp details in Lincoln's hair, flawless surfaces, and no visible scratches or wear. Under magnification, the lines will be crisp and almost sculptural. And if you think you've found one, don't rush to sell it just yet. You need to get it professionally graded. by services like PCGS or NGC. These organizations authenticate and evaluate coins based on condition. The difference between an $80 coin and an $840,000 coin is often just a single grade level. Think of it like the difference between a rough diamond and a polished one. The shine determines the fortune. Now let's pause for a moment. How many of you are suddenly thinking about that old jar in the garage? Or that collection your dad kept in a coffee tin? You're not alone. Thousands of Americans have turned hobbies into six-figure paydays just by knowing what to look for. But here's the part most people never consider, the emotional value. That one penny isn't just money. It's proof that fortune favors the curious. That in a world obsessed with new technology and digital currencies, something as small and simple as a copper coin can still change lives. There's something poetic about that, isn't there? Because while others scroll through investment apps and crypto charts, real treasure might be sitting right beneath their fingertips. Quiet, patient, waiting for someone who still believes in discovery. Now let's fast forward to today's market. Auction houses and collectors are paying record-breaking prices for rare Lincoln cents. The demand is skyrocketing, and the supply is nearly gone. Coins once worth a few dollars a decade ago are now worth tens of thousands. The 1971 no-mint mark penny is part of a larger trend, one that rewards patience, passion, and precision. Collectors aren't just buying coins. They're buying history, stories, and scarcity. And those who get in early reap the rewards. But there's a reason you should act now. With awareness growing and investors entering the collectibles market, these coins are being snapped up faster than ever. Once they're in private collections, they might not resurface for decades. Prices are climbing and opportunities are shrinking. It's like real estate for the ultra-rare. Once it's gone, it's gone. And here's the wildest part. Many of these rare coins have been found in the most unexpected places. A retired school teacher in Illinois found one while helping her grandson roll coins for a school project. A man in Florida discovered his in a handful of change from a gas station. Both became instant legends in coin-collecting circles. It makes you wonder, could the next one be you? Maybe you've been holding on to an old coin collection, thinking it's nothing special. Maybe you inherited one from a relative. Maybe you've been meaning to sell it someday. Well, this might be that someday. Because every year you wait, the number of available rare coins drops. And with every drop, the price climbs higher. This is the moment where curiosity becomes opportunity. And before you think it's probably too late, remember this. The people who found these coins weren't experts. They were ordinary folks who decided to look. That's the difference between dreaming of wealth and discovering it. So, after this video ends, I challenge you to do one simple thing. Go find that old jar, that dusty drawer, that forgotten collection. Grab a magnifying glass. Check every 1971 penny you can find, because one of them could be the key to your financial freedom. Think about what $840,000 could do for you right now. Pay off your mortgage, send your kids to college, buy your dream home, retire early, build a life you don't need a vacation from. It all starts with awareness and action, and maybe a little luck. Let's be honest. Most people will hear this story, get excited for 5 minutes, and then forget about it. But the ones who take it seriously, they're the ones who make history. So, which one are you going to be? Because this story isn't just about a rare coin. It's about something much bigger. It's about seeing value where others see none. It's about recognizing opportunity hidden in plain sight. It's about believing that wealth doesn't always come from the stock market. It can come from something as humble as a penny. Funny, isn't it? A penny, the coin we ignore the most, might just be the one that changes your life the most. Now here's a little secret most collectors don't want you to know. The 1971 no-mint mark penny isn't the only one worth a fortune. There are other hidden treasures scattered through your pocket change. The 1943 copper penny, the 1955 double die, the 1969 error cent. Each of them has a story, a price tag, and a piece of history attached. But none quite capture the imagination like the 1971 no-mint mark, because it's recent enough that you might actually find one, and rare enough that if you do, it'll transform your financial life overnight. So as you're watching this, remember, fortune doesn't always announce itself with flashing lights and fanfare. Sometimes it jingles quietly in your pocket, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. Check your change. Search your collections, and never underestimate the power of curiosity. Because the next time someone says, "It's just a penny," you'll know better. And who knows? The next millionaire coin story might just be yours. Imagine receiving a call late at night. The voice is calm, cool, but what they say stops your heart. We have identified a coin in your collection that matches only 3 known specimens in existence. It's worth nearly $1 million. You sit up in your pajamas, palms sweating. Is this a scam? Or is this your ticket to financial freedom? Let's travel together in time. In 1972, the Lincoln cent was produced in massive amounts. It was everyday change. The clink in the cup, the coin in your pocket. Nobody thought those pennies would turn to gold. But today, experts recognize that under the right combination of die error, perfect strike, and absolute rarity, one particular 1972 no mint mark penny commands nearly $865,000 in today's market. Why this coin? What makes one penny worth millions while billions more are worth face value? And how can you know if the penny in your old jar is one of the rare few? You'll learn that in the next 10 minutes, but here's a warning. Once you see what I'm about to show you, you'll never look at a penny the same way again. Opening scene, hook. You reach into a jar for your loose change, pull out a penny, and think, who cares? Yet that unremarkable disc might be your passport to a 7-figure balance. It's the kind of secret that coin dealers whisper about in closed rooms, and the very secret they fear you might discover. But don't worry, I'll guide you step by step. You won't need to be a numismatic genius. You just need to open your eyes, check a few traits, and act fast. Act 1. The discovery and the stakes. Back in 1972, the Mint produced Lincoln cents exclusively in Philadelphia. Hence, no mint mark. The number struck was enormous. In fact, most of those coins are now forgotten. Yet among that mountain of mass-produced pennies, an infinitesimal few survived with absolutely perfect characteristics. Flawless surfaces, precise die alignment, untouched luster, and most critically, no signs of wear. These are called museum-grade or proof-quality pattern strikes. Only 3, or perhaps fewer, exist. One of them recently sold into private hands, commanding $865,000. At recent auctions, whispers floated the possibility of bids exceeding $1 million. That's real money. That's life-changing. Now you might ask, is that value real or just hype from photo gazers? It's very real. Auction records confirm it. Dealers and collectors have confirmed that the coin meets the strictest standards of authenticity, rarity, and demand. What does that mean for you? A few things. If you own a 1972 no-mint Lincoln cent that is merely very fine, it's worth maybe 10 to 50 cents. If it's uncirculated and gem quality, maybe $1 to $10, perhaps $50. But the ultra-rare perfect examples, unbelievably pristine, are in their own league. 6 to 7-digit territory. The horrifying part? Many owners of these coins have tossed them or spent them. They were common pennies. If you are reading this, your coin could have survived untouched in a small plastic sleeve, unknown to any expert. Don't tell me you threw away your pennies. I secretly hope you did. Less competition for me. But here's the rub. Spotting that rare specimen takes precision, patience, and, most of all, speed. Because once word spreads, buyers chase it like sharks in feeding time. So that's the discovery and the stakes. Now we must move deeper. How to authenticate such a coin, how to understand the market, and how to act. Act 2, the investigation and conversion. First, how do you even begin to vet whether your penny might be one of the fabled 3? Here are the crucial checkpoints. Surface perfection. This penny must be immaculate. No hairlines, no micro-scratches, not even a fingerprint swirl. Under magnification, the metal must have that satiny texture of a freshly cast, perfectly struck coin. Die characteristic matching expert numismatists compare minute die markers, tiny pits or striations unique to the die used in minting that batch. The rare 1972 no-mint example has very specific diagnostic markers. A tiny dot near the date, a narrow right serif on the E of 1 cent, and a faint doubling on Lincoln's jawline. If your coin matches all those, alarms should go off. Weight and metal composition. It should weigh exactly 3.11 grams of pure copper, or the 95% copper, 5% zinc alloy used then. Any deviation, even 0.1 grams, would be suspicious. Certificate of authenticity. Only grading houses like PCGS or NGC can certify such coins. If your coin has never been slabbed, put into a sealed holder, it's more work, but also more possibility if no one previously examined it. Unbroken provenance. The coin's history, who owned it, when it last changed hands, must be thoroughly documented to avoid suspicion of counterfeits. If your coin passes some of these preliminary checks, you'll want to get it professionally examined. That's when things get serious, but don't wait. Time is your enemy. Now let's talk about market dynamics. Why a penny? Why millions? It's scarcity plus demand, simple as that. Collectors of ultra-high-end coins will pay unimaginable prices for perfection because very few exist. And when a specimen like this comes to market, the bidding frenzy can spike well above estimates. Auction houses know this and torch the hype to maximum effect. But here's a scary detail. Many coins are counterfeits or altered, and some unscrupulous dealers try to pass off cleaned or relustered pennies as mint fresh. So it's critical your coin is untouched, because if you sell to the wrong buyer, you lose millions. They'll undervalue you, argue defects, or buy you cheap because you weren't ready. So how do you sell it safely? 3 keys: public auction with warranties, secretive private acquisition with escrow, consigning to ultra-elite dealers who specialize in 7-figure rarities. Whichever path you choose, you must demand full disclosure, high security, and documented chain of title. Let me tell you about Jane, a 62-year-old teacher in Ohio. She found a 1972 no mint mark cent in a drawer, got it graded, and listed it at auction. The final price shocked her, $865,000. Overnight, she paid off her mortgage, set aside college funds for her grandchildren, and had extra to travel. She wept. She said she never imagined that a penny could change her life. That's power. That's what's possible. But before you get flashing pictures in your head, there's one more act, the transformation and urgency. Act 3. The transformation and the call to action. You now understand the potential. So here's what you must do right now. First, search every penny you own. Don't skip your childhood jar. Don't ignore that old tin from Grandma's attic. Carefully remove them, examine under 10x magnification, and compare against images of authenticated 1972 no-mint million-dollar coins. Second, photograph and document every candidate. High resolution, multiple angles, reflecting light from all sides. Capture any die markers, date close-ups, rim edges. Third, consult expert graders. Within 24 hours, send your candidate to PCGS or NGC for review. Use registered mail, ensure the package, get tracking. Fourth, secure appraisals. Get multiple independent experts to review before selling or consigning. Don't accept the first offer. Let your coin compete. Fifth, and this is urgent, act within 30 days. The market for rare coins is volatile. News of an 865K coin already spreads. The longer you wait, the more someone else might get wind and snatch your match. Or inflation flickers. Or the grading house changes policy. You cannot wait. Here's your cliffhanger. If your coin is real, accepting any offer under $800,000 would be a catastrophic mistake. If you settle for less, you're leaving hundreds of thousands on the table. Would you do that? Would you? So I challenge you. Within the next week, tell me what you found. Even if it's nothing, go hunt. It costs nothing but your time, but if you discover the legendary specimen, your life might change in a heartbeat. Before I leave you, a quick humorous reset. You might feel foolish fishing pennies from couch cushions, but if one is worth $865,000, you've just found yourself richer than most startup founders. Don't laugh too hard. Somebody will laugh all the way to the bank. In closing, a tiny coin minted in 1972, often dismissed, might be the key to unlocking unimaginable wealth. The value is real, the market is real, and the opportunity is fleeting. If you act now, carefully, intelligently, you might be one of the few to ever transform spare change into a life-altering asset. Go search, go document, go verify, and may your humble penny become your fortune. I'll be waiting. You're cleaning out an old glove box or visiting your childhood home and you find a handful of old coins, Lincoln cents, maybe some dimes. You casually separate them and one penny looks different. It has no mint mark in 1979. You ask yourself, is that a mistake? Suddenly, your pulse quickens. Is it just a fluke of minting? Or is this the key to unlocking a windfall? This coin isn't part of the regular 1979 run. No D for Denver, no S for San Francisco. It's an anomaly. Imagine walking into a coin dealer's shop with that in your hand. Their eyes widen. You force yourself not to drop it. You try to stay calm, but inside, fear and excitement tangle. The risk you didn't see coming. But here's the rub. Even as you dream of millionaire status, there's a darker side. What if it's a carefully crafted counterfeit? What if authenticity fails or the market collapses? What if the coin is damaged, cleaned, or invalid in minting records? The fear grips you. Will your discovery turn into humiliation? Or worse, a financial black hole where you invested hope but received nothing? Yet your heart says, push forward. The excitement wins. You start researching, reaching out to numismatic experts, sending photos, maybe even considering grading it. Every new message from a coin forum makes you lean forward, breath held. The stakes mount, and that's when you discover one whisper. Someone claims that this coin recently sold or was offered for sale for $833,000. That number echoes in your mind. Waking you up at 2 a.m., you Google furiously. You call auction houses. You ask experts, is this a one-off rumor or the real deal? 3, sudden turn, the cliffhanger. But here's the twist. This $833,000 figure is a red flag. A headline, a number tossed around like confetti. And yet, in certain corners, the claim is treated like gospel. If that value is legitimate, and if your coin qualifies, then your life changes overnight. But we haven't even scratched the surface. Are you ready to follow me down this rabbit hole? Act 2, Exploration and Conflict. Provenance, authenticity, and the collector's mindset. First, we dig deep. Those who've turned small change into fortunes understand this. Provenance matters more than shine. A coin's history, who owned it, where it's been, how it was stored. These factors can push value from thousands into the hundreds of thousands. A coin that can be traced back to a rare find, or one that's backed by top numismatists, carries gravitas. Without those credentials, brace yourself. Even a unique 1979 no-mint mark is just a curiosity. Experts will ask for photos, obverse, reverse edges. They'll check die markers, weight, diameter. They'll look for anomalies like planche flaws, doubling, die cracks. And in so doing, they will either elevate your coin to legend or consign it to the dustbin of overhyped claims. Here's a question for you. If your heart says this is the one, but the grading company says F or G, what do you trust? Your heart or their microscope? 2. Market psychology and the million-dollar myth. Let's pause for a second and reset your attention. Yes, we talk about pennies. 1 cent. If that doesn't make you chuckle and shake your head, nothing will. But here's the thing. Rare coins aren't about face value. They're about stories, scarcity, and collector demand. The claim of $833,000? It rides on hype and belief. Very few coins ever fetch that kind of amount. And those that do have full backing. Verified provenance, dramatic rarity, and intense interest from high-net-worth collectors. A single whisper can drive a bubble. I want you to imagine 2 scenarios. In one, someone pays $800,000 for a 1979 no-mint mark, and you hear it in whispers. In another, there's no actual sale, it's a rumor circulated to entice sellers. Which scenario gives you goosebumps, and which gives you cold nausea? You'll hear videos, websites, forums claim worth millions. But those are sales estimates, not realized prices. The real market? It's lean, selective, and merciless. If your coin doesn't check every box, you might be left with disappointment and a bruised ego. 3. The conflict, hope versus reality. Now your internal struggle begins. You're torn between belief and skepticism. You post photos, receive estimates, get heart-charging whispers like one collector might pay you mid-6 figures. But then come the red flags. Results undetermined, no guarantee. Only in immaculate condition. Rarity not proven. The voice of reason says be cautious. Yet every part of you wants to believe it's real money. So let me put you on edge. Maybe your coin is worth more than common sense. But is it worth $833,000? The answer lies in grading, in auction results, and in collector appetite. And in a moment, I'll reveal whether that number holds water or bursts like a bubble. Act 3, Revelation and Transformation. Unmasking the $833,000. Claim. Here's what I discovered. There is no verified public record of a 1979 no-mint mark Lincoln cent selling at $833,000. Some dealers list speculative valuations. Some rare coin websites repeat the number, and a few promotional materials use it to attract sellers. But none provide a final, sealed, verified auction result showing a closed sale. That's the heart of the discrepancy. In truth, top certified rarities, Lincoln cents from early years or ultra-rare errors, sometimes break into six figures, even low seven. But a 1979 no-mint mark? It's unprecedented. Without documentation, it's a ghost tale whispered among coin lovers. Always question a big number that isn't backed by photos of a ledger, an invoice, or a padlocked auction gavel. So if someone offers you $833,000 for yours, excellent. Just don't believe they already sold one. Demand proof. 2. Realistic market value and the path forward. Now let's get practical. In exceptional condition, if your 1979 no-mint mark is perfectly certified, say, MS 67 or 68, with impeccable provenance, perhaps a bold private buyer might bid high, into the low six-figure zone. But more realistically, its worth as of now might be tens of thousands, not 800,000. Maybe 50,000, maybe 150,000, depending on rarity, buyer, desirability. That's still life-changing money, but within reason. If you have one, you must follow these steps. Grading and certification. Submit to PCGS, NGC, or other top-grade houses that verify originality, condition, and any errors. Provenance documentation. Gather photographs, notes, prior ownership, or discovery story. Secure auction placement. Choose a high-end numismatic auction house, not just eBay. Engage collectors and dealers, but be prepared for rejection and negotiating. Don't accept wild offers without proof. If someone throws around millions, ask for check imaging, escrow, or deposit. If you do this carefully, you could land in the sweet spot, six-figure offer beyond your imagination, but credible, backed, and legal. Through your emotional journey and final challenge, your fear to excitement emotional ride doesn't end here. You've teetered between delusion and hope. Now you stand at a crossroads. You can believe in fairy tales, or you can arm yourself with facts and strategy. You might feel urgency. Someone else will snatch it first. And that's valid. The rare coin market is competitive. But don't let desperation push you into a bad deal. Wait for the right buyer. Demand proof. Protect yourself. This coin may open a door to wealth, but only if you guard your steps. Before you go, here's your cliffhanger. Suppose someone is ready to pay $833,000, but only if your coin meets all their criteria. Are you confident yours will? Are you ready to submit it, authenticate it, and go all in with confidence? If so, your life just changed forever. So dust off your jars, dig through drawers, and find that coin that keeps you dreaming. Because within ordinary coins may lie extraordinary value, or at least a story worth telling. And when you hold that one in your hand, you'll know this isn't just a penny. It's your future. Don't sell it tomorrow. Research, document, get counsel, and then let the world prove you right. But here's the thing most people don't realize. Not all 1979 D. Lincoln cents are created equal. Some are worth exactly 1 cent. Others, due to rare minting errors or unique details, have transformed into treasures worth hundreds of thousands, even millions. The question is, do you know how to tell the difference? Because right now, collectors and investors across the country are racing to find these rare coins before they disappear forever. Let's rewind for a moment. The year is 1979. The United States is going through inflation, gas prices are climbing, and the U.S. Mint in Denver is striking billions of Lincoln pennies. Most of these coins would go on to live ordinary lives, traded in markets, lost between couch cushions, forgotten in pockets. But among these billions, a few special coins came out of the presses with mistakes, microscopic variations that make them unimaginably valuable today. Now you might be wondering, how can a tiny imperfection turn a 1-cent coin into a life-changing fortune? It comes down to rarity and demand. Collectors crave the unusual, the misprinted, the perfectly preserved. And in the case of the 1979 D penny, that means double dies, off-center strikes, and pristine mint state conditions that almost never survive. One of the rarest and most valuable examples of this coin sold for nearly $830,000 in a private auction, setting the numismatic world on fire. Why? Because it wasn't just any 1979 D penny. It was nearly flawless, uncirculated, and featured subtle die variations that made it one of a kind. Imagine holding that in your hand, one penny that could buy you freedom from debt. But before we go deeper, let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at the pennies you receive in change? Most people don't. We toss them aside, treat them like trash. And yet, there are people who've built entire fortunes simply by paying attention. Isn't that ironic? The world trains us to chase big investments, stocks, crypto, real estate, and yet a single copper coin could outperform them all if you just know what to look for. So what exactly should you be looking for in your 1979 D penny? First, check for the mint mark, a small D right below the date. That D stands for the Denver Mint. But here's where it gets interesting. Some of these pennies were struck with double dies. That means when the die hit the coin, it struck twice, slightly misaligned. You might see doubling on the date, or on the letters in Liberty or In God We Trust. That subtle doubling could turn your penny into a gold mine. Another variation to watch for is the off-center strike. Sometimes the coin isn't properly aligned when struck, leaving part of the design cut off. The more dramatic the off-center, the higher the value, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible. Then there's the condition. A penny that's never been circulated, crisp, shiny, and untouched, is worth exponentially more than one that's been rattling around in pockets for decades. And here's where the real urgency kicks in. Every single day, these coins are being lost, damaged, or melted down. Every one destroyed makes the remaining few even more valuable. Think about that for a moment. The window of opportunity is closing, and once it's gone forever. Now maybe you're thinking this all sounds too good to be true. But consider this. Rare coin collecting isn't some underground hobby. It's a billion-dollar industry. Major auction houses like Heritage and Stack's Bowers regularly sell pennies, nickels, and dimes for prices that would make your jaw drop. Wealthy investors are diversifying their portfolios with coins because, unlike volatile markets, physical collectibles hold real, tangible value. Their history you can hold. Let me share a story. A man in California, an average guy cleaning out his father's garage, stumbled upon a small tin filled with old coins. One of them, a 1979 D penny in near-perfect condition, ended up fetching more than most people's annual salary. He couldn't believe it. He said, "I almost threw it away." That one moment of curiosity changed his life. That's the power of awareness. You never know what you're holding until you look closer. Maybe you've got a jar of coins sitting in your kitchen right now. What if one of them is your ticket to financial freedom? Wouldn't it be worth 5 minutes of your time to find out? And before you start dumping your coins onto the table, let's talk about the most critical element: grading. This is where fortunes are made or lost. The condition of your coin determines its market value. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing a flawless mint state specimen. A 1979 D penny in mint state 67 or higher can skyrocket in price. Even one small scratch can mean the difference between a few dollars and a few $100,000. Professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC can authenticate and encapsulate your coin, preserving its value. If you believe you've got a rare one, don't clean it, don't polish it, and definitely don't toss it back into circulation. Handling it incorrectly can instantly destroy its potential worth. Now, let's add a little humor here. Think about all the times you've dropped a penny and didn't bother to pick it up. How many fortunes have slipped through our fingers because we thought they weren't worth the effort? Funny, isn't it, how the universe hides its treasures in plain sight, disguised as something ordinary? But here's the twist. The 1979 D penny isn't just about money. It's a symbol. It reminds us that value often hides in the overlooked, the forgotten, the things we take for granted. Just like that penny, maybe you've got untapped value waiting to be discovered in your own life. Skills, ideas, opportunities. The key is to look closer, to recognize what others ignore. Still, let's not sugarcoat it. Not every 1979 D penny will make you rich. Most are worth just a cent. But the thrill, the possibility, that one chance in a million, that's what keeps collectors searching. Because the day you find that rare one, everything changes. And it's not just about finding the coin, it's about understanding the market. Right now, coin collecting is going through a renaissance. Baby boomers and Gen X investors are reevaluating tangible assets. Millennials are joining the hobby, drawn by stories of ordinary people striking gold from pocket change. That growing demand is driving prices higher every year. What's worth $830,000 today could cross the $1 million mark tomorrow. So how can you take advantage of this moment? Start by searching your change. Look at your coin jars, your old wallets, your drawers. Learn to spot those subtle signs of rarity. Join online numismatic forums. Compare your coins to verified examples, and if you suspect you found something special, get it graded. You can also track recent sales online. Auction platforms publish results publicly, showing what collectors are paying right now. And if you're holding a 1979 D penny in mint state condition, this might be your time to sell. The market is hot, demand is high, and supply is shrinking. The window is open, but it won't stay open forever. Think about this. In a world where everything is digital, where value seems to exist only on screens, something as small as a 1-cent coin can still create real wealth. That's powerful. It's a reminder that sometimes the greatest opportunities aren't new. They're just rediscovered. And if you're sitting there wondering, could I really find one? Remember this. Every great story starts with someone who took a closer look. Someone who refused to dismiss the ordinary. Someone who believed that even a penny could hold potential. So tonight, when you empty your pockets, don't overlook those coins. Pick them up. Turn them over. Examine them. Because somewhere out there, a simple 1979 D penny is waiting to change someone's life, and it might just be yours. Before we wrap up, here's your challenge. Within the next 24 hours, go through your coin collection. Set aside every 1979 penny you find. Look for the D mint mark. Check for doubling in the date and lettering. Search for off-center strikes. Then compare them to verified examples online. If one even remotely matches, you could be holding a 6-figure coin. The only question left is, will you take action? Or will someone else find your fortune first? Because the truth is, opportunity doesn't knock twice. And in the world of rare coins, timing is everything. So next time you see a penny lying on the ground, remember, it might not just be luck waiting for you to pick it up. It could be a symbol of hidden wealth, waiting for the eyes that truly see. Your future could be sitting in your pocket right now. The question is, will you recognize it before it's gone? If this inspired you, stay tuned, because in our next video, we'll reveal another coin from everyday circulation that could be worth millions. And most people have no idea they're spending them without a second thought. You won't want to miss that one. Until then, remember this. Sometimes it's not about finding new opportunities. It's about seeing the old ones with new eyes. And that 1 cent could be your first step toward a truly wealthy life. Strong, commanding tone, rich with intrigue and urgency. You might think a plain copper penny dated 1980 with no mint mark is worthless. Just another coin in your jar. But what if I told you that one such penny recently fetched $870,000 on the open market? Yes, nearly $1 million for what most consider spare change. Today, I'm going to show you the unbelievable story, the ruthless market behind collectible coins, and how your own coin collection might be hiding a fortune waiting to be claimed. You'll hear names. You'll see numbers you won't believe. And when we reach the end, you'll understand how you could be holding something truly priceless if you act before time runs out. It all began on a scorching summer afternoon in 2023 when a rare 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln cent came onto the auction block. Experts in numismatics swarmed. Collectors held their breath. Bidding rockets soared. And the final hammer fell, $870,000. The room shattered into applause. That single penny was now legendary. How could a coin, struck in the millions, possibly become so rare and so valuable? What secret flaw made it a masterpiece? Why did collectors risk so much capital? And most importantly, could your coin jar contain the same kind of treasure? In the next 10 minutes, I'll walk you step by step through the hidden world of ultra-rare pennies, reveal the exact traits that made that 1980 no mint mark cent turn into gold, or nearly so, and show you how to judge sell and protect your own coin treasures. By the end, you'll feel both empowered and a little nervous, because this is not a game. In this world, timing is everything. Stay tuned. What I'm about to share could change your life. It begins innocently. A man cleans out his old coin rolls, flipping through Lincoln cents from the 1950s, 60s, 70s, and into the 1980s. He glances at one. No mint mark. He sets it aside, murmuring, "Just another cent." But decades later, someone pays almost $1 million for that exact variety. You might ask, what went wrong or right in the minting process? Why did this one penny become a gold mine? The difference lies in a minting anomaly, a very rare misplacement or omission that should have flagged it as defective, but instead, it slipped through quality control. In the world of coin collecting, those mistakes are often the most valuable artifacts. In this particular case, the absence of a mint mark when there should have been one rendered it a no-mint error, which is exceedingly rare. Only a handful of specimens have ever surfaced, and this 1980 cent was the crown jewel. But that's not all. The coin also achieved perfect grading, a virtually flawless surface under microscopic scrutiny. Combine that extreme rarity with pristine condition, and you've got the perfect volcanic cocktail, an item worth hundreds of thousands, even millions. Now let me ask you, if most coin sellers glance at a cent and dismiss it, what are the chances you might already be sitting on a fortune and not even know it? Think for just a moment of all the pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, and coins tucked away in drawers, forgotten jars, bank boxes. Among them, hidden in plain sight, might be your golden goose. Don't click away yet, because not every 1980 no-mint mark penny is worth $870,000. Most are still worth face value or maybe a few dollars to a collector. The secret lies in the specific flaw, stamping error and condition. And finding that secret is both a science and a gut instinct. Let me draw you closer. Picture this. Two men, decades ago, both flipped through rolls of pennies. One tosses aside a no-mint mark 1980. The other senses something unusual, a slightly different strike, a thinness on one side, perfectly smooth fields, unexpected reflectiveness. That man holds on. He passes it to a grading expert. The expert's jaw drops. It's one of those ones. It comes to auction. The price? $870,000. Now imagine that coin was yours. But wait. Before your heart starts racing, let's talk about how such a coin even survives decades without being lost, damaged, or destroyed. These are rare survivors, sometimes still in original mint packaging, sometimes in circulation, but, miraculously, preserved by accident. Every scratch, every nick, every grain of dirt affects value. Most potential million-dollar coins are ruined before they've ever been noticed. You're feeling the tension now. Do I have one? You wonder. Should I spend money on grading or expert evaluation? The answer is only with caution, but with urgency. Here's your path. 3 critical steps to move forward. First, search and segregate. Go through your coin rolls. Look for 1980 pennies, especially ones without mint marks. Inspect for anomalies, off-center strikes, doubled dies, missing letters, odd metal discoloration. Grab every weird one and set it aside. Even humdrum cents could hide clues. Second, consult a professional. Don't trust amateurs. Send the coin to a reputable grading house, PCGS, NGC, ANAX. Their analysis and certification will make or break your coin's legitimacy. But be prepared. Grading costs money and shipping risks are real. Don't send your heirloom without insurance or tracking. Give them high-res photos, condition notes, and describe why you suspect something special. Third, market with precision. Once graded, do not simply list your coin on eBay. You'll want auction houses experienced in rare numismatics, heritage auctions, Stax Bowers, or specialist coin firms. They know how to reach the elite collectors, the ones who won't blink at 6 or 7 figures. Their audience is the few who are willing to gamble $870,000 on a penny. Let me pause here and ask you directly. How much are you willing to invest? Time, money, risk, to uncover a potential fortune from what others call mere pocket change. You already know the stakes. Now I want to share a cautionary tale, a story from within the community that sends shivers down the spine. A few years ago, a coin collector submitted what he thought was a standard 1980 cent. The grading house returned it as not genuine, a classic blow. No compensation. He lost both the coin and the grading fee. And yet, just months later, a near-identical coin sold for $500,000. That heartbreak cost him not just opportunity, but confidence. He never again trusted his gut. Fear creeps in. What if your coin is rejected? What if you pay thousands for grading only to discover it's worthless? You must steel yourself. Only submit your strongest candidate. Document its condition. Ensure transit. Do your due diligence. Because in this world, the gap between $10 and $870,000 lies in precision. Now shift attention. Let me break down the valuation mechanics. How did experts land on $870,000? What formula or method justifies such astronomical value? The elements are few, but extremely demanding. Rarity. There may be only one or two known specimens of that particular era. Rarity multiplies value. Condition. A coin graded MS-70 or PR-70, virtually perfect, is exponentially more valuable than MS-65. Historical significance. A penny tied to a known minting scandal or oversight holds narrative weight. Collectors love stories. Provenance. If the coin comes from a respected collection or has been exhibited, its pedigree adds premium. Demand, the market must exist. That 870K sale proved there are collectors ready to pay. Auction dynamics, bidding wars drive inflated peaks. A coin might sell above its established floor because two bidders escalate into irrational exuberance. These attributes converge only rarely. The moment one is weak, say a coin is a little too worn, the valuation plummets. You must tick every box. Let me interrupt your thinking for a moment. Did you ever intentionally save a 1980 penny without thinking much of it? Did you ever toss a handful of worthless coins aside because they seemed ordinary? How many treasures have we casually discarded because we lacked vision? Don't make the same mistake again. Let's connect to something deeper. You and I, we aren't just chasing coins, we're chasing possibility. We're betting that the past can bring us a future we never expected. That a forgotten object can transform into financial freedom. The path is narrow, but the reward is immense. All right, now we approach the final stretch. Here's how you can maximize your chance to claim that rare jackpot. Act quickly. Every moment you wait, that coin could be lost, spent, or damaged. Get multiple opinions, consult at least 2 grading houses and even private numismatists. Protect your asset. Use tamper-evident holders, insured shipping, climate control. Build your story. Document provenance, letters, acquisition history, photos. A story sells. Choose the right auction moment. Don't list in a slow season. Aim for coin shows or high-visibility auctions when collectors' attention is high. We are nearing the end. But first, a cliffhanger. In just a few more minutes, I'll reveal one secret trick used by top coin brokers, how they quietly confirm a coin's authenticity before submitting it for grading. It's been hidden from public discussion for decades. Don't leave now, you'll wish you had heard it. So you're still here, good, you're serious. Picture this. You send your coin to grading. You wait, days stretch into weeks. Then the phone rings. The expert on the line says, "Congratulations, the coin is an MS-70 no mint error. It's estimated between $700,000 and $1,000. That moment is pure adrenaline. You feel shock, relief, validation, and you realize you've been handed a key, one of the rarest keys in the collector's realm.